Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm riding on my Z125. It's a beautiful day. It's the only beautiful day that we're gonna have this week. Unfortunately, Vancouver is predicted to have 6 days of straight rain, so I'm trying to take advantage of today, and I figured I'm gonna go out and ride and make a couple of videos for you guys, and those couple of videos are gonna be yet more story times with Stan. But before we get started with the story time, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support you guys have been showing me in my last video. It's always really validating to know that you guys are enjoying the company of the people that I have on my channel. So the last video I featured Alice, and you guys have been killing it with the support, so I really do appreciate that. And if you guys haven't seen the video yet, make sure you go check out that video after this one, or watch that one before you watch this one. Either way, you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, let's get started with the story time. So as you have already read from the title of this video, this story is about the time that I had 3 dates in 1 week, and I did the exact same thing with all of them. Now, I know how that sounds. Doing the exact same thing on all 3 dates within 1 week, it sounds like a terrible thing to do as a human being, right? I'm sure some of you guys, whether you want to admit it or not, have done the exact same thing on multiple dates, whether it be months apart or a year apart, whatever. I'm sure you guys have done similar dates in the past. And if that's just me, then I guess I'm a bad person. But let me explain the story, okay? So first off, we're gonna start with how I met these girls. So girl number one, let's just call her Claire. She's really good friends with one of my best friends. My best friend, let's just call her Marie. So her and I kind of knew each other from a distance. Like, we've never been actually formally introduced at that point, but we knew each other's names and we knew what each other looked like. So I remember it was at Guildford Mall. She was working at H&M at the time, and it was almost closing time. Closing time, one last call for alcohol. Sorry. Closing time, one last call for alcohol. So prior to me asking her out, I remember I was in the mall, I was just shopping around for clothes, and I went into H&M and I saw her. So I immediately messaged my friend Marie. I was like, yo, Marie, I'm gonna ask out your friend tonight. She's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you're serious about her. I was like, no, like I wanna get to know her and stuff like that. And eventually she's like, fine, just do whatever you want. I basically didn't get the approval from my friend Marie, but I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it anyways. So I remember it was like 2 minutes before closing time, and at that point I'd been lingering around and trying to work up the courage to ask her out, and finally I found it. So I went up to her and I was like, hey Claire, I know you and I don't actually know each other, but my name is Stanley, and we're both friends with Marie. And she was like, yeah, I know who you are. I was like, well, I know this is kind of random, but I was wondering if you would like to go out with me one time. And I remember, to my recollection, she had a big smile on her face and she was completely caught off guard. She was like getting all shy and bashful about it. And then she said, yeah, I'd love to go out with you. Here's my number. So that's how I got connected with girl number one. So girl number two, let's call her Rachel. I really like that name, by the way, because we're friends. She was also a friend of my friend Marie. So both of these girls, girl number one and girl number two, were friends with Marie. Only this time, this was more of a setup. Instead of me just like finding her at a workplace and asking her out, me and Marie were hanging out, and she took a Snapchat of me driving and her in the passenger seat. And then I remember Rachel replied to the Snapchat, and then my friend Maria was like, hey, he's single if you want to go on a date with him. And then she was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a try. And then so Marie gave Rachel my phone number. Rachel messaged me, we started messaging back, and then we set up a date. And girl number three, let's call her Samantha. She was a friend from high school that I had recently reconnected with, and it was just as simple as that. We started talking again and we set up a date. So I remember thinking, like, Stan, what the hell are you doing? Why are you setting up 3 dates in 1 week within like 4 or 5 days from each other? It wasn't even like a spread of 7 days where I do 1 date in the beginning of the week, 1 date in the middle, and 1 date at the end. I think I set it up where literally 2 of them were back to back. Like, one of them was on a Tuesday, the other one was on a Wednesday. So girl number one, Claire, I remember she didn't live too far away from me, just about a 10-minute drive or so. So I drove over there, picked her up, and I remember she looked really pretty. And maybe this is just me, I'm not really the type to be so keen on makeup. I love the look of a natural girl. I'm also not against it. If they want to wear makeup, that's completely fine. I just remember thinking, like, damn, like, she actually took the time to curl her hair, put on some makeup, put on a nice dress for a date. And for me, it's always the thought that counts. I really did appreciate it. Oh yeah, it's a small one. Yeah. So she gets in my car and we drive over to downtown Vancouver. and we get some dinner. Now, a little piece of advice for you guys if you're going on dates: never go to the movies on a first date unless you have something planned afterwards or beforehand where you guys can actually sit down and talk and get to know each other. So I remember for dinner we went to a place I love going downtown. It's not really like fancy, it's like Thai, Malaysian fusion kind of food. But yeah, while we were there, we got to talk a lot, get to know each other a lot more. And after that, we went for desserts, got some macarons. And then to end off the night, we went to a scenic view up in Burnaby Mountain. And that's where we talked even more. There definitely was a connection between us. Maybe more for her, unfortunately. So for me, by the end of that first date, it was already done. I didn't tell her that day. I told her a few days later. But let's fast forward now to girl number 2. So with Rachel, I remember she was talking about how she hates the smell of durians. I think durians? I don't know how to pronounce it. Some type of fruit. Because her dad, something about that. There was some kind of inside joke that we were creating subconsciously. So what I did was, before I picked her up, I bought a durian, I packed it up in a box, put some nice gift wrap over it, and then I gave it to her when I first met her. I picked her up from her house and she thought it was such a funny gesture, and I know for sure I definitely scored some points in that regard. So even with Rachel, I remember she put in the effort to get ready for the date, which I really appreciated as well, and we did the exact same thing. And with this girl, I actually liked her more. I liked her a lot, actually. I really was hoping that, you know, things would have worked out with her, because she was my type. She was really tall, and for me, like, I would love to have tall kids. I'm not so like adjusted on that idea anymore. I must have been like 23, 24. I was already thinking about like marriage and kids. That's something I always think about. So yeah, again, went for dinner at Tropica, went to get some dessert from macarons afterwards, and then end off the night at Burnaby Mountain. I remember doing this exact same thing again because I was like, man, I'm so exhausted from the first date. I can't think of what else to do, something different. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do the exact same thing. I didn't want to focus on the date. I just wanted to focus on getting to know the girl. So I did the exact same thing because now I could put less focus on the other things, if that makes any sense. I don't know. So yeah, I really did like this girl, and I was really hoping that, you know, it would work out. But let's fast forward to girl number 3, which happened maybe 2 days after that one. At the time, I was just honestly looking for a girlfriend, and I wanted to see and explore my options. So I remember with girl number 3, I was not really into her as much as the other 2, but I did the date anyways. You know, lo and behold, I just found myself not interested in her by the end of the night. Like, way less interested than I was with girl number 1. So at this point, I knew I had to end things with a couple of them and try to pursue one of them, because I found the one I was the most interested in, which was Rachel, girl number 2. So I remember with Claire, we were texting, and I said, hey, let's meet up. I'll come by your house and let's talk. So I go over there and I park outside of her house, and she comes out, we get in my car, and I tell her, I think it's just best if you and I stay friends. To my surprise, she did take it very well, but I know at the same time she wasn't happy, because she was hoping that, you know, something would have happened from it, because I remember she did really like me from the first date that we had, and she was hoping for another date, or, you know, just for us to continue on with what we were doing. But I had to let her down, and I remember in that moment I felt really grown up, because I had never actually done that before, where I had let off a girl like that. Most of the time before that, it was always a girl letting me off, so I was the one who was always getting, you know, rejected or being let down. But yeah, that was the story with girl number 1, Claire. That was the end of that. And then girl number 3, Samantha, I just told her straight up, like, I'm not interested. Like, it didn't work out, you know, we tried it, and yeah, let's just be friends. We don't talk anymore, you know, it's not a surprise to me. It's just kind of how these things work. And girl number 2, Rachel, oh, I remember, like, I wanted it to work so badly. She was exactly my type. One night, you know, we're talking over text, she's like, hey, can we talk over the phone? I was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, now I get to talk to her over the phone. And I was kind of excited to do it, but that excitement fell short, let's just say. Basically, the same talk that I had with girl number 1 happened with girl number 2, only vice versa. She was the one telling me she wasn't interested, and, you know, I'd love to be friends with you. You seem like a really nice person. Yeah, it's one of those things, and it's not like we did stay friends really. Like, we were cordial is more like it. Every time we'd see each other, we'd just say hi. Never talked outside of that ever again really, which was a shame. But you know what, that's how life works, man. So here's a little bit more unsolicited advice for you guys. If you feel like you're settling and you're questioning yourself whether you should go out with this girl, then you probably shouldn't. There's a lot of relationships that start out there where, you know, a guy finds out a girl likes them, and then they're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna jump at this because this is easy and this is convenient and I don't have to put in that much work. I'm telling you guys, if you put in the work for a girl you really do like and then you get her, like, that is the most rewarding feeling. But anyways, you guys will figure it out. I'm sure you will. You're all adults or becoming adults. But yeah, that was my story on the time I went on the exact same date with 3 different girls. Like I said, there was a reason behind it. I wanted to focus less on the date and more on the girl, and I figured if I did the exact same thing with the girl, then I can get a fair comparison and gauge on, you know, the type of girls that they are and how they are in those settings, I guess. You know, you get the dinner setting, you get the dessert setting, you get the walking around downtown, and you get like sitting around looking at a nice view kind of setting. A lot of talking definitely involved. Like I said, if you're going on a first date with somebody, don't go somewhere where you won't be talking that much at all. Otherwise, you're just really not going to get to know the person, and it becomes more of a physical thing, you know? Anyways, I hope you guys can somewhat find this relatable if you're in the dating game. Maybe then it'll help you a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it'll... For all I know, I'm just like leading you guys to inevitable doom when it comes to dating. But just hear my experiences and interpret it the way that you think it should be interpreted for your lifestyle. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys haven't seen my other story times before, make sure you guys go check them out. They'll be up on the screen during the outro sequence of this video. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace!